Yo, what up, street gods? There, Kim. Alright, the thought. This one is about photographic dismotivators or demotivators. So what does this mean? And let me extrapolate up a little bit. So I think one of the most difficult thing in photography is that to stay motivated and inspired and stuff like that, to keep making hopefully new photographs. Now, what often kills our motivation to make new photographs? I think it's mostly a via negativa thing. So for example, I think social media is bad because it gives us undue anxiety, like, oh, this time I'm not gonna get as many likes or whatever. So social media is typically bad, like Instagram and stuff like that. Other demotivators for artistry is comparing ourselves to others. So, oh, what's the point of me, why I'm making photos or trying this photo project? Because someone's already done it and they might have already done it better than I have, and I'll never be able to be that good. So comparison is a bad motivator. And maybe even the thought that, oh, what's the point of doing this? I've already done it before. So some thoughts, right? You eat every day, use the bathroom every day, and for some of us, we look at NSFW things every day in incognito mode. So just because we repeat something doesn't mean it's bad. Like, I eat meat every day, and I would not want to eat meat every day. It's my my passion, or my what gets me going. Similarly speaking, I mean, a lot of us, when it comes to our photos, you'll see something that you've kind of already saw before, but then we won't photograph it because it's like, oh, I've seen someone else photograph this, or I've already photographed it before. But like, let's say you have a baby, it kind of looks the same thing every day. You're still gonna kiss it every day, right? And so maybe there needs to be this new re-envision thing where repetition is not a bad thing. People often think repeating is bad, to repeat yourself is bad, blah blah. But it's actually even one quote I like from Arnold Schwarzenegger is life is about reps, which means one should not confine oneself into just not repeating oneself simply for the fact that other people have done it already. And I mean, I'm not about like mindless reps. Like, for example, when it comes to weightlifting or powerlifting, I prefer the more of the 1 rep max strategy where you know, I just do heavy singles and try to max out every week. But at the same time, I've repeated this act of doing 1 rep maxes for, you know, several years now, and it's still enjoyable to me. And so once again, like, or let's say you have an album that you really like, to just keep listening to the album over and over again, to repeat the same music. It's often good too. Or rereading a book, like even Nassim Taleb says this, right? Rereading a good book once or twice or 3 times is more fruitful than just reading a bunch of random books. So there are certainly things that are beneficial to creative repetition. For anyone who's trying to learn an instrument like violin or piano, even something as simple as practicing your scales or repeating the same old songs will make you kind of better at it. And the thing that's motivational is that every single time you do it, even if you try to do it the same exact way, like even if you force yourself to try to repeat it as perfectly the same as possible, it's never going to be the same too. And even if you live in the same boring neighborhood or the same boring town and it's pretty boring and static, even for me, every time I walk around the block, there's still something like slightly different or unique or different that inspires or motivates me. And so the optimistic thought behind that is to just repeat yourself, and to keep doing it is the goal. To have perpetual creative productivity seems to be the goal. And from a via negativa perspective, what that means is try to figure out what your motivation killers are and just do the opposite of that. So, I mean, I haven't thought about it too much yet, but I mean, other thoughts, right? For myself personally, I cannot be artistically or creatively productive if I'm sleep deprived. So I prioritize my sleep above all. Or you know, even looking at stats or views or comments is it's always discouraging to me, because you know, it's like, oh man, this thing I made is so good, it should have more views or comments. But now I just don't even look at it anymore. And I think the action and the activity in itself is the joy. Like even lifting weights and stuff like that, like once you hit a new PR in any of your lifts, right, you're still kind of the same person you were before. And so even hitting a new PR, the joy isn't hitting a new PR. The joy is actually exhibiting the courage and trying to and attempting to hit a new PR, which is actually more interesting to me. So for example, if I slept perfectly, my form was perfect, my warm-up was perfect ever, and I tried to deadlift something new and I can't quite get it up, it doesn't really bother me, because I know that what was in my control was giving it 100% of my max effort. So the max effort thing is actually much more interesting to me than the result, and so the process is far more interesting. So whenever it comes to photos, every photo you shoot is kind of the same, but it's also kind of different as well. So just kind of let that be your motivational thought, that you know, you could actually walk around the same old block around your house like a quadrillion times and always find something new.